There we are. Replay loading up. Let's get everybody into the right scene. Hey, here's a loading screen. Everybody can watch the loading screen. Isn't it exciting? Oh, while we watch the loading screen, I'll tell anyone who happens to be viewing this as a VOD or just joining me. Hey, this is a match from the Chobo Team League. The Chobo Team League is a league for players anywhere from bronze all the way up to diamond to play in a fun team environment. It's the format is somewhat similar to the SC2 Pro League. We have a best of 9 matches here, and all of the maps are done beforehand, and it is certainly not an all-kill format. In fact, each match has a restriction as to which players can play in it, as to which league they're in. And the restriction for this match is that this is a Gold League match. Spawning in the lower left, we have, playing for Team Unrivaled, Hollywood. Playing for Team Composite, up in the upper right, we have Smithy. Playing as our yellow Protoss, Hollywood being a blue Zerg. So Hollywood's sending his first Overlord across the map, talking about how exciting it is, and it probably is, because for a lot of the players, this was the first match they ever played under the Chobo Team League. This is the very first week of this season, so for a lot of players, myself included, in fact, I haven't even played my first match yet. I actually play for Vortex Esports within the Chobo Team League, and my first match was, my technical first match was a walkover. So I'll actually be playing my first game at 7 p.m., well, later tonight, as it's already pretty late into the morning, shall we say. But yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be streaming my first-person view of my first actual played Chobo Team League match. If you like tuning in, I'd love to see you there. If not, that's cool too. Also feel free to catch the VODs later. Everything I cast, I always cut up the VODs and get it up there. So, getting that supply tab up, looks like we got Pool first coming down from Hollywood. And Gateway first for Smithy. First Overlord about to get to the base. And Smithy's first scouting probe just kind of hanging out here. Taking the watchtower for the moment. Hollywood is taking that typical quick first hatchery after the spawning pool. I believe the probe was in the way, trying to delay it a little bit, but the timing really isn't that delayed. Anyway, so that first Overlord's going to see that Gateway. See the Cyber Core about to come down, and the fact that there is no second base yet. So with Cyber Core not down yet, there's nothing to do anything to the Overlord, so it's going to be able to hang out and continue its scouting. In the meantime, we see the first few Zerglings coming out for Hollywood, heading across the map to get some scouting done. And we also see Hollywood taking his first gas. Smithy already having taken 2 gases moderately early, but that's pretty normal for a Protoss player. Yeah, he's got 150 mine, he hasn't used any gas yet. But now the gas use starts, as that timing was actually pretty good. I had just enough gas to get that mothership core started and get warp gate tech started. So Hollywood losing a Zergling for free in what we would call over at Base Trade TV First Blood. Running against this wall off with just one Zealot holding the line. In the meantime, the Overlord's still able to see everything in the base because there's nothing to shoot an Overlord yet. That first Stalker's just about to finish up, though, and tell that Overlord to move along. In the meantime, each player with one Xel'Naga Watchtower, that second Zergling for Hollywood having that tower, and that early probe scout from Smithy having that one. He also does have one proxy pylon down in this corner. Not sure if we'll see that actually become useful later or not. One Zergling comes up to take down this probe. not noticed fast enough to micro the probe out of the way, so the Zergling gets a free probe kill and takes the second watchtower, giving pretty much complete map control to Hollywood, who has supply blocked himself and used a double extractor trick. No, he supply blocked himself because he lost the Overlord over here. Because that Overlord didn't get out of the way fast enough and that Stalker came out. He has made a number of new Overlords to replace it. Getting down a Spore Crawler to defend against, well, most early tech choices. And that's pretty good, because we see a Dark Shrine on the way for Smithy, so we're going to see some Dark Templar play by the look of things. Probably warping in at this warping pylon. He does have Lair Tech, though, and has his Hydroden on the way, so he can morph in Overseers if he chooses to, but having not scouted that Dark Shrine, he doesn't necessarily know that he needs to, and I don't believe he has yet. Oh, there's an Overseer, so he does already have at least one Overseer on the map. In fact, let's look over at the Units tab. Yeah, that is the only Overseer he currently has, but hey, at least he has one. For the Dark Templar that are sure to show up almost right now. Yep, as soon as that finishes, we see two Dark Templar being warped in right where I thought they would be. And in fact, the Overseer and the Overseer comes over. That pylon is spotted and starts getting taken down, but with only that one Overseer, they're not going to see where these Dark Templar are going. One goes into each base. Spore Crawler on the way, but that's going to be a little bit too slow, allowing this Overseer to actually get some damage done. The other one taken down by a Spore Crawler and a Queen running into that Spy Crawler, and this one actually chasing after these drones finds the same fate. So Smithy uses Dark Templar. It's not very effective. ... Amusingly enough, though, Hollywood didn't finish off this proxy pylon. Probably should have left those lings knocking at it. Anyway, he is going to finish it off now before anything else gets warped in. But having wasted all that gas on Dark Templars, it's not looking all that great for Smithy at this point in the game. Now he has made an Archon out of a few of the Dark Templars that he warped in back home. And he has +1 weapons on the way. No upgrades yet for our Zerg other than Groove Spines and Zergling Speed, so, you know, no +1 on of either type of attack or carapace. But we do have 2 Evo Chambers going down, so we're probably going to see that +1 ranged attack and +1 carapace pretty quick. Overseer sacrificing itself for information, getting a pretty decent scout off. And in the meantime, that big Hydraling force out here for Hollywood, hanging out in the center of the map. Not sure if he's planning on attacking with it soon or just kind of hanging out and holding map control for the moment. Starting to get some pretty good creep spread out of Hollywood. With our Protoss player pretty much being walled into his base. The creep spread is completely unopposed at this point. But he's apparently spending more of his time dealing with production. Roach Warren now coming down, adding on a Roach Warren after doing the Hydroden first. Kind of an odd choice, but works well sometimes. And we've got Charge coming down for Smithy, as well as +2 ground weapons, +1 having finished, and a Robo facility. And while I was talking about all that, it seems that a few Zerglings were running into the front trying to get some scouting done. Didn't really get much done. The main army still being over here. Main thing they were able to see was the unit composition out of Smithy. And looks like Smithy's going to move across the map. Takes down the one Ling on the watchtower and starts to head into creep. It's an overload for free. And a proxy pylon is set up by the probe that was traveling with that army. And another one, just in case he needs backup. So this army starts to move in. The army of Hollywood kind of putting itself into this wall. Not necessarily the best thing when you've got a number of Zerglings in your army. Zerglings need area to actually be effective. But that said, this looks like it's a pretty good engagement for Hollywood here, and the remaining Protoss troops warp out using mass recall as Hollywood continues streaming his troops across the map, perhaps trying to do a counterattack, but mostly just finding that watchtower and then take down at least this proxy pylon. Probably hasn't seen the other one yet, though, so that one might actually stand. In the meantime, we have an observer heading down the map for Smithy. And Hollywood taking a third base. Just about to finish up. Hollywood's troops look like they're about to knock on the front door of Smithy here, though. Zerglings being blocked off by that Dark Templar, with the detection being a little bit slow in getting there, so Dark Templar able to do work and take down a whole lot of Lings for pretty much free. These overseers setting down a ton of changelings, which isn't really going to do much. But they are affording high ground vision to this small Zerg force, so they're actually going to be able to snipe this Cyber Core, while Photon Overcharge is still holding them back from actually a main attack. Almost also snipe off this Immortal. And seeing that they can do so much damage, it looks like our Protoss players attacking into the Zerg army, pushing them back. In the meantime, we see more reinforcements joining up with the Zerg army at the front. And these changelings are being let to survive for the moment. Unpowers a gateway, taking down a pylon for free, as Photon Overcharge is now finished up. Only 84 energy on that mothership, of course, so we're not going to see a second Photon Overcharge for a bit yet, as our Zerg player starts knocking down the front door, takes down a Forge. That Forge was researching, I believe, so denying another upgrade for our Protoss player. Extended Thermal Lance about halfway done, and a second Colossus also on the way. Unpowering this gateway, taking down another pylon. But choosing to move back with his army for the moment. Allowing our Protoss player to get up a few more gateways. Probably repower some things. Oddly enough, leaving things just unpowered at the moment. Anyway, sitting down another proxy pylon down here. And, oh, we've got a Nidus worm coming into Smithy's base down here. I don't think this has been scouted yet. Check his vision. No, he does not see this Nidus, which is... Well, actually, maybe he did, as the Nidus seems to have been cancelled. So we have Spire just about done, and oh, actually, I think I accidentally stepped back in the video. Sorry about that, folks, because that Nidus network isn't yet done yet on my view, so we're about to see that Nidus play start to happen. Sorry about that. I guess I went backwards a minute trying to switch observer view. Got a warp prism hanging out over here. It's like one Dark Templar and one Zealot in it. But that Dark Templar isn't really going to do anything as it's hanging out next to a Spore Crawler, and with a quick transfuse that Spine Crawler is able to handle it. Observer still being able to hang out there, and a number of Corruptors coming out for our Zerg player. Now we're back to the point in the game where we've got that Nidus coming down. And, yep, he definitely sees it now. We've got a Nidus starting to, well, there we go. Now the Nidus is unloading. Ton of Roaches and Hydras going into Smithy's base. At the same time, Smithy's heading across the map with his army. Looks like we're probably going to see a base trade going on. Smithy about to lose his main. Creep starting to spread across his base from that Nidus. Odd place to see the probes running to. Anyway, Hollywood during this time has also lost his natural, and look, Smithy's actually got a bit of a supply lead for the moment. And these Dark Templar are really doing great work on defense. There's no Overseer over here, so these Dark Templar are taking out a lot of the little bit of army that was in the Nidus. In fact, they're also going to take down the Nidus as the remaining army retreats using the Nidus. Try to help attack this Protoss army back home, but that is not going to work out. It's looking like that's going to be it for Hollywood in this close and interesting game, but Hollywood's got no answer to this army in his main. And just working from this third is not going to be enough. So, in fact, the third looks like it's about to get attacked, warping in more Dark Templar. Now, the Dark Templar aren't really going to get anything down there. Would have been better off just warping in Zealots. But, really, it doesn't matter. There's no answer to this army. That's what it comes down to. There's absolutely no answer to this army for Hollywood right now. Hollywood, having now lost all of his tech structures, doesn't even have a spawning pool. Got a Roach Warren on the way, so he can make roaches. And that'll be all he can make. And in the meantime, Smithy has a, fully up and running base. He didn't actually lose all of his production over here, even, and also has another base up and running, so... Looks like this is going to be it, folks. Hollywood GG's. So that puts our score at 4-4, which means that this best of 3 ace match we're about to watch was indeed really an ace match for this week in the Chobo Team League between in Team Unrivaled Gaming and Team Composite.